After posting our field guide for the incantation Bloodflame Blade, we got quite a few of you that suggested that though you can't cast the Bloodflame Blade directly on certain weapons, that you can cast it and still gain the buff on those weapons under certain circumstances. Thus, with a little extra work and weight for your character, still being able to use Bloodflame on weapons such as the pulley crossbow, or Ghiza's wheel, or the blasphemous blade. One commenter even suggested that using explosive bolts on the crossbow would not only deal the Bloodflame on each of the 3 bolts hitting, but also on the 3 bolts exploding, doing 6 stacks of bleed rather than just 3. Just 3 stacks of bleed. What is the world coming to? Anyway, so let us endeavor to disprove this hypothesis with some Elden myth-busting, or prove it along the way. First things first, we must face down the dreaded Wandering Noble and see if the fire damage transfers. Simple. We'll gather our raw damage stats first, then cast Bloodflame on our right-hand weapon and see if we get any extra damage. As a side note, I have to aggro them first so I don't accidentally get the wrong damage numbers from the 25% damage buff of the surprise attack. So, you can see here our normal damage with this crossbow on this character is about... A fire buff should be quite noticeable, so we'll cast the Bloodflame and fire again. Some people have commented why I and other guide makers constantly use these low-level mobs or other weak enemies when showing off weapon stats. And the answer is simply that they have diddly squat resistances, so the numbers are always the same even when testing out different damage types. And as you can see, we're still getting the same damage even though Bloodflame is quite active. But just to be scientifically accurate, let's try just using a standard weapon swap and see if casting it on our right-hand weapon, then swapping to the crossbow in our right hand keeps the buff. And as you can see, it doesn't. So, we're gonna have to call this busted. No, after casting Bloodflame, it does not confer the fire damage buff to an offhand weapon or keep going after a weapon swap. But Bloodflame has another effect. That of a bleed buildup over time. And for this, we're simply going to need a bigger target. So the troll down the road will do the trick. We first need to get the attention of the troll. There's no other reason for me to do some random attack in the middle of nowhere. And you can see that I'm using normal bolts with a basic crossbow. So there's no bleed going on. Just taking out the troll with a barrage of bolts. But wait. While I'm holding the blood-flamed sword in my dominant hand, my non-enchanted crossbow manages to proc bleed. And you can see it's delayed, just like if it had been hit with Bloodflame. So that is myth confirmed. You can give the Bloodflame bleed buff to a crossbow by holding a burning weapon in your main hand. Now, for the good stuff, there are 2 more combos that were suggested, and we'll test them out quickly. One is the idea that the Bloodflame will stack on the explosions of bolts, not just on the hits. We do our customary salute to the troll by smacking the ground. And unfortunately, for the myth, it still takes 3 volleys to proc bleed on the same troll. It does do more damage, and if you were to fire bird bolts, the bleed would go brrrr, but not the explosions. Finally, to Ghiza's wheel. And to not waste your time, I'll just tell you that we were unable to get the Bloodflame to have any additional effect on the pizza cutter. It seems that if you want the effect on a weapon, it needs to be out and burning, or something needs to be out and burning. And if your curiosity is burning about something else and you want us to test it out here on the channel, let us know in the comments and we'll put it to the test. Or if you think we made some mistake and would like to offer suggestions constructively, I see you in the back there getting ready to flame us in the comments on what else needed to be tested or how to fix our testing to make it work in some way, you can let us know that too. And please subscribe and like, it really helps out the channel. And as always, we'll play with you again later.